there's a certain plateau of trying to figure out what you're really made of. You know, you used to tell me this here, why you try to save me from, you know, the streets and everything else, but if you put me out there, you kind of like just feed me to the wolves. If I'm not really prepared, I'm going to be prepared until I'm out there. You know, and I'm like, as a mother cub, I don't want nothing to happen to my baby, but I got to make sure that you're prepared. And sometimes, even when we verbalize and we say that we want to prepare them, you really won't know how prepared you are until you're faced with a crisis. And your instinct, human instinct will just set in. And that's the only way you're going to like learn, you know, and test yourself. So that's where that's at. So I see that you're doing a couple of things here, and I'm asking you to explain to me exactly what you're doing.
All right. So, boom. How y'all doing? I'm here. It's Dizzy Spades, and if you don't know, this lovely lady to my right is my beautiful mama. And
hey.
This is going to actually drop on my mama's birthday, so that's going to be pretty dope. So this is going to be a happy, super happy birthday, mom, virtually and stuff like that. And you were asking a question of like what I've been doing and the gifts and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty dope because I get to explain to you, and then I get to show it to you, and then you'll get to have like virtual track record of what's going on. So
history in the making.
And that's the
I like that.
The goal, and that's the job. So I've been working on a lot of series and things right here. This one in particular is called the Next Stop Hollywood series, and I'm just trying to just branch out and get more people familiar with my brand and my name and stuff like that. With the hashtag Hollywood clothing brand that I'm going to be dropping later on this year. My debut album that I'll be dropping this year called hashtag Access Hollywood. Been dropping a lot of music from the 86 summer program. I was born in year 86. I was born during the great time when the Mets won the World Series. And
so that's where you get the theme.
I got the thing from there from my grandfather. My grandfather is a huge Mets fan, and he was calling me amazing the whole time when I was young. So you know, the something about that '86 thing is just dope for me. And the fact that I get to work with a lot of my friends that you actually know, like you know Mills and you know Chris and Nephew and you know like you know Blue and stuff like that. I got to bring all of them back into our circle, and you know we've always been friends since we were children and things like that, and we had similar goals. We just had a lot different directions to how to get there, and I'm kind of happy now that you know we're still friends, and through the process of what I'm doing, it's helping them get to where they want to go. And they like I said, they all have their own goals and stuff like that. They're all doing their own things, but it's just something about what I'm doing right now is as a friend who we all started with the same mission to see where it's going now. It's like, all right, that's pretty cool that you're doing this, and it's opening these doorways to do what we want to do. Like I'm doing the camera work stuff now, doing a lot of camera work now. We have 86 Films, the production company. We're doing blogs, interviews, documentaries, music videos, commercials. Still doing a lot. And then what's even dope about that is like Nephew, he's doing like photography and stuff like that. We have like Fresh Classic, Rob Bob, you know, he's about to get into the film production company of what we're doing and stuff like that. And it's just more awareness of what we're doing with just trying to get the brand out of there. I feel like we've been doing this for a long time, and it's just...
So what is your overall goal with your brand, and what is your brand actually representing? So
my overall goal for my brand is just to be legendary, you know, just to be remembered forever, just to, you know, I have this slogan, this phrase, follow the lights. You know, something I got from my father or whatever, and it was something about always being remembered and always doing right by people, always providing a service for people. And I feel like I got to the point in my life now to where I just serve the people. Like I created a service to where I seen areas to where it needed light. It was a dark area. It was something that a lot of people didn't shed light on in this information, especially with what I do in battle rap, as far as trying to put on newer talent and other talent and forgotten talent or misplaced talent or whatever your story is in battle rap. I wanted to be the person to say, you know what, let me be the one to help you say your story, explain your story, give you a platform to where you can say, I went on Dizzy's platform and someone watched my interview and they got to know me a little bit better, because we still are artists, we still are human, we still have everyday struggles, not just because we're battle rappers and people think that all of the aggression and the disrespect doesn't come with some type of art behind it. And I wanted to be the person to expose the art, to be the person to where your story is being told, because we all have a story, and not just because we're in a competitive sport, our story shouldn't be told. Like they tell Michael Jordan's story on The Last Dance documentaries, and they have Kobe documentaries and stuff like that. Why can't they have a Murder Mook and Loaded Lux, Dizzy Spades documentary and stuff like that? So I started looking at that type of those subjects and those areas and said, you know what, my goal and my mission is to be the person to help my culture create that, because I felt my culture was lacking in it. And there's some people who were doing what I want to do in the culture, but I felt like they weren't coming from a standpoint of being in the field. They weren't coming from a standpoint of having that experience of saying, let me speak on what you guys are going through. You can't speak on what I'm going through if you're not going through it. So I wanted to be the person in the culture to say, you know what, we need one of these. So I made Year 86, and from Year 86, it opened up a lot of more. It opened a lot of avenues to where I want to go, and hopefully, like I have like a 5-year plan to where I really want to be and stuff like that, and I definitely see myself getting there. So next stop Hollywood, and I kind of told the battle rap culture, I told the world like our next stop is Hollywood, and in that term Hollywood and battle rap, it's funny because the term in battle rap when you're Hollywood to someone is, and it's kind of like in real life, like it means you're saying you're better than someone, or like you're too good for something, or you're shunning something. But my definition for Hollywood is like stars and lights and putting in that work and showing the path to really being seen in a different type of light and element. So that was the goal that I seeked out for myself, and I feel like I'm getting there.
First of all, I thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
You put in a lot of deep thought of what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't realize what we even stumble across
Right.
while we in it. To share somebody's story is deep, especially now because we kind of like quote quote celebrating Black history, but you know that Black history is always forever being made, okay? Because history is being made every day,
Right.
every second of the day. Understanding different cultures, and if we don't actually get to know those persons that are representing that, and we don't know their stories, sometimes we get that misconception of. So by you putting it out there, and not to just look at what they represent, but who is the actual individual themselves, and sharing their story, how they even got involved with it, it says a lot. The fact that you say that you started out when y'all were all young, and that y'all are having like this circle of, I call it brotherhood more so than just a friendship, because it stepped out of just a friendship. It went to like a brotherhood. And we don't say that perhaps each one of y'all had your own individual goals, but how it actually kind of flourished and maybe went full circle, and y'all kept your bond, but you can still all still kind of come together, and everybody's still doing their own individual thing. But from where you started to where you're at now, what has that actually did for you all, whereas you can still say that this is the platform that you want to be able to share your stories?
I feel like the reason why I have so much passion behind it is because when I entered battle rap roughly about 6 years ago, I was a different person, and I kind of see the growth. 6 years ago, I was a part of the group with Devon. Shout out to my cousin Detox, 100 Stacks, and we were like 10 years into just doing music, just going on shows and tours and opening up for, you know, Joel Santana, Remy Ma, THRU, and we thought we were like this close to, you know, being signed to having a major deal. And when he decided that he no longer wanted to rap anymore and he wanted to go in his own direction and stuff like that, he revealed something by saying, like, you know, like, you want to do this music and this rapping stuff a lot more than me. Like, I'm just doing it just, you know, just to do it. But it's not in it's not my passion. It's not something that I truly want to do. And knowing that we were doing music for so long, at that time I didn't understand, because I wasn't mature enough to understand that you can do something every day and not like it or not want to be a part of it, and you just continue to do something just off the strength of the people around you. And I had to learn that in these 6 years, because I was truly on my own with my craft. And I feel like my passion for why I'm so active in battle rap, it because I see where I grew. I kind of see where I stepped in as being like a lost MC, of just, I was hungry but I was lost, and I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't have any idea how to get there, and I didn't have any idea of who I truly was as an individual, because I was always used to being in a group setting. Like, when I first started rapping, it was before Tots. It was the Hood Fella also I gained with Mills and Bundles.
But what drew you even to doing the rap? It's a story even behind that, how you got even involved with that.
Oh, as far as just rapping?
Just rapping, okay, because my understanding, okay, and the way I always looked at it, okay, it's a lot of ways to just express and how we communicate. What made you even draw into that format?
With me rapping actually is it was me being more rebellious towards you and my grandfather. When I was younger, you guys wanted me to sing. You know, I could sing. And at the time, like, even though I was a part of choruses and part of like singing groups or whatever, it wasn't something I wanted to do because you guys were asking me to do it. And at the time, I think I was even more being immature, because at the time I wanted the attention of, I just wanted the attention, knowing that, I wasn't getting it, and then knowing that if I did this one particular thing, it was getting me attention, but it wasn't the attention I really wanted. So it made me rebel against it, of saying, you know what, like, I'd rather not sing, and you should notice me for this, and you should notice me for that. So when I was playing basketball and stuff, I noticed that my grandfather also paid attention to me in that light, but it wasn't like with the music. And even with you, it wasn't the same when I was younger. So it made me figure it out on some, all right, if I'm gonna do music, I'm definitely not gonna sing, but I'm gonna do something that I can have the same rhythm and moves and even the same type of dialogue or whatever. So that's how the rapping came in, and I think I started rapping realistically like I do remember like one of my first times ever rapping was when my father had passed, and I remember being down south, and I would cry and look up to the sky and be like, you know, like what's going on with the situation that I'm in, and I had the rhythm of just certain rhyming words of cat, hat, stuff like that. So I would write in those type of phrases, and then I speak in riddles. So a lot of people when they hear me speak, it's kind of confusing of what are you saying, not understanding I speak in riddles. So that's something that when my name came up to be Dizzy, it made perfect sense of just like, you know, like every time he talks, like I'm either confused or I don't get it or whatever. So a lot of people thought I was a shady person. So my first rap name was Shady. But then when people figured out, nah, it's just more not saying what he wants to say, or if he is saying what he wants to say, he's just taking a long time to get there, not just getting to the point. So with the rapping, once again, it was more of an attention thing. So when I started getting attention from other people, not from who I wanted it from, I realized that maybe I don't need that attention from my grandfather and my mother, because other people will love my art and they'll see my art and it'd be a better way for another person to tell you about my art. You know, someone can tell you like, you know, your son did this, and if they understood it, maybe you would understand how they understood it, and you wouldn't understand where it came from. So that was really what it was when I was growing up, as far as just saying I'm going to be a rapper.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because, again, I remember when you first told me that you wanted to do this here, and I'm like, okay, get it out. This is a hobby. We understand that we have certain interests and everything else and stuff. But my perspective is that sometimes we come across so many different things that we don't know exactly what it is that we're doing, even though we have a passion for doing it, but what it also can kind of like expound upon. And when we use music, dance, expression, is always something that we're trying to communicate, to reveal to someone else within. And rap has gone from a lot of things, from my time, before my time, and to your generation and the generation that is, you know, behind you. What are we saying? Okay, and that's drawing that attention. You know, I often question, it's kind of hard. And when you listen to different genres of music, I've gotten to gospel more so now, okay, with the choir and everything else, versus the hardcore rap to tell that story. The NWA, Niggas with Attitude, I was like, what are you talking about, you know? But the fact that that whole story and that title came from something that they was dealing with and how they choose to express it. When we look at Ice Cube, and when he was doing this, what was it, this Minister Society, you know.
He's not in that movie.
Well,
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, yeah, okay, all of that era, okay, it's been some time. But the fact of the matter is that when we see those things and they're revealing, you know, these are stories that's being told, but the misconception of how we receive it, because we're not actually understanding it. When you look at the terms battle, and when you said you was into this battle rap, and I'm like, okay, are you actually getting ready to fight somebody? You know, because our thing was ranking, okay? And it just, you know, I guess evolved into something totally different. So to right now, when you're saying that you're trying to express the different side of the culture and how people actually receive it, understand that what you're really stepping on and how you can actually use it to motivate. Because if it's going to be something that's going to be more influential, to whereas you can actually turn that whole thing around. I've always tried to express to you, if whatever you do, you know, because there's going to be some trials and tribulations and errors, and not necessarily errors, but you can say what experiences. It's a lot to be told there, okay, and how we actually, I guess, receive it all, and how we actually can embrace it to make people better and empowered. I would prefer you to do something more so than that. And again, when I see that you're doing these platforms to get these people and say, okay, boom, they're going to be a battle rapper, and I just don't like that violent, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to kill you, and all this MF profanity and all that stuff. I'm just not with it. I've never really was into that like that. But remember that next generation that's listening to it, and if it seems like it's promoting something and glamorizing things that's of negative, and I asked you that question before, do you think that as an artist, do you have any type of responsibility, even though you can't necessarily quote control people's, actions, but that mindset, understand that the power that you all have, okay, and not just your, group or anything else, but whether it's the celebrities, it's artists and movies and stuff, everyday people.
But what's unique
all
about
of that.
The unique thing about battle rap is that it takes what you're saying, and even though you might hear the content of the material of someone might say, headshot or whatever, it's actually how they gather and bring in communities together and put them in a safe haven, and it kind of that kind of spreads amongst neighborhoods of people who go from Bloods to Crips to folks to like the gangs that's are part of the culture, like
the truce y'all make.
Because I don't want to say, I feel the word truce is a strong word, because if you say truce, that means nothing happens, and that's not true. But it's the respect of other cultures, and it's not all violence. It's not like you have.
So why the terminology like that?
You have, well, that's what the content is supposed to be, a reflection of what you go through, or what you identify with, or what you enjoy, or what's seen in front of you on TV. So we're in a day and age right now of where we see violence everywhere we go.
Right.
So to speak on it in a reflection of just art and talent, but knowing the reality of it, of knowing that when I'm in this room and there's 40 to 50 people in here from different neighborhoods and backgrounds that could be potentially from enemy territory or whatever, and I'm in this room, I'm being mature, I'm being respectful, I'm sharing jokes, I'm sharing memories, I'm actually proving against society that we can get together and have a great time, and show that, yeah, you hear the content of what we're speaking on, but
so is that deceiving the actual audience?
I don't want to, and that's why I didn't want to use the word truce.
Okay.
In the word, because the word truce and deceiving these are strong words, because we're not deceiving the audience. We're not standing down or saying we're not a part of something. We're just showing that we are mature enough and powerful enough to stand together, and that should be more important because of the actions. Like, our actions are actually speaking louder than our words.
Okay, so when I see the thing that you're doing now that's behind the scenes, that y'all can actually do this behind the scenes, and I'm glad that you're bringing that to the attention of the audience, because again, sometimes people can't see the difference between quote what's really reality versus what we actually see. And me, again, like I said, I like psychology because I want to know what makes people tick. Me being my own first client sometimes, but the fact of the matter is that we can go ahead and watch a horror movie and be like, oh yeah, go ahead, kill it, but then we end up seeing it in the news and say, oh wow, that's really horrible and stuff. When you go out there, and again, remember who your audience might be. Okay, so when they see that and they go ahead and they listen to the content, and even though you know and your crew knows or your people that you deal with, they know that this is just for entertainment purposes, the same way we would look at a boxing or wrestling or the games. And some things are set up just because they are. A lot of stuff is a facade, and we understand that as well. But understand what it might do to some other people's intellect in that sense, or trigger something for that person to think, yeah, because when I get older, I want to be just like them. Okay, when they wearing all this gold jewelry and everything else and stuff, we just got out of chains. Don't put us back into chains and stuff, and misconstrue that whole mindset. You know, I have an issue with that because maybe I don't still understand what you're trying to actually bring across.
And that's why I do what I do now. Like that's why my goal is so important, and I have the passion behind it, because you realize you're my mother and you say this.
Yeah.
So if you have these type of questions and these type of concerns or whatever, and
but you're a parent yourself now.
And I am, and but also understand that my son is very expressive with his art, to where I don't control how he expresses his art, and if he's doing his art, I'll let him be in his realm of it, because he's not hurting himself. Just like I'm in my art, I'm not hurting myself, and what I'm doing now is I'm putting platforms and pieces together to where people can understand more of my culture, more of my art, because my art makes me who I am.
I think that's a good thing.
And that's really what a lot of battle rappers do anyway, when it comes to how we perform and express our material. Just like I want to say this again, like not all of the content that you hear in battle rap is violent. A lot of content now in battle rap is a lot of entertaining things, to where it's taking away from the violence in the material.
Well, I would hope
and
so.
And
Let that evolve from, because again, that power that y'all actually possess in that sensitive way, and I think this is across the board with even, like I said, all artists, okay, the celebrities and stuff like that. Understand that programming, okay, to be deprogrammed is so important, and that's basically everything that we've done. A lot of stuff that we have been told prior to, okay, I'm accountable for certain things because my parent didn't know the difference. Once we know better, we do better. And when we see that, I think as a people, especially when we see the crisis that we're going through, it's definitely past time to wake up. You know, we are, like I said, our church is doing something where we say we are our ancestors, we are the elders. Now you become a part of the elders. The village concept.
I'm not that old.
Come on now.
I'm not that old.
Closer to 40 than you are 30, right? Listen.
This is for the camera.
Okay,
I'm not that old.
It's a privilege that a lot of people ain't got, and you know that, okay? Hello, so, you know, embrace that. The fact of the matter is, for the most part, like I said, I just think that I'm glad that you're doing the behind the scenes, not just always what's there, but understand that accountability that can be, you know, like you're charged with, even if you don't even know that at the time. It's important to, how you say, represent the best way that you know how to, but understand what you also have the power to do. And when I say that, not just you, but how it also, when you say legacy, imagine what's going to be said about you. Not just what's being said now, but later on as everything else evolves. I listened to, I'll give an example. Gladys Knight, right? One of her songs. At the midnight train to Georgia, but I'd rather live in his world than live without him in mine. I remember that song listening, and my mom listening. I'm like, okay, she likes that song a lot. As I got older, I'm like, is this woman crazy? You know, but that's the love that she thought that she had for that man. So that means that her whole life is going to stop. Because she just forgot all about her own world. But she wants to be with this man. Understand what that really said to a woman. You know, for the rap, I'll go out there and I'll shoot you, I'll blow your head up and stuff like that. What? You know, that whole concept.
And we always had these conversations too.
But I'm just saying that in that example.
Because
those are two different things.
Like I said, we always had this conversation about rap because of who I am. And
I don't even like the nigga thing no more.
Right, but it's that. Why isn't when like positive reinforcements of this art, it's not. Why is it not celebrated from people who say that they want to hear it from it? They want to hear from it so
but
much.
That's diversity. That's the diversity. Okay, but understand the impact that it still holds. Okay, and I'm not saying that everybody expresses things differently, without a doubt. Okay, this is a good thing about freedom, quote, somewhat of speech. But understand that if more people did more positive things and more productive things, how it could actually change the whole atmosphere. And this is what we strive for, to be a better people, to empower. Okay, I'm not saying that there's no harsh realities, because there are. But that whole mindset, just the mindset, could be so much more. You know, now, why do people do things? And you did a couple of podcasts prior to about the crime, right? We definitely, because you've done a lot of different things. And again, like I said, I stand behind you, in front, on the side of you and everything. And I don't have no problem supporting, especially when it's something that's productive. But you was like, well, why do people, why do they look at it as black crime? Why do people just do crime, period? We understand why. Okay, right now we're going over profit over people. On my way up here, and I was looking at some things, I was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on and stuff. They building these houses and stuff, but is it affordable for people? So no, okay, if it's not affordable for me, but it's affordable for you, and you got what that I have, then I got an issue. Okay, does somebody rap about that? Yeah.
People rap about it
all the time. So again, but does that mean that person just say, well, shh? Okay, I ain't got no home to go to, and they go ahead and start. But what are they going to do about it? What's the positive thing they talk about it?
But what about if them speaking on it was the positive thing to do?
That is okay, because you're bringing it to You're bringing it to the platform, right? You're bringing it to the platform. But then, how do you survive? And remember, to me, the system wants us to stay in that beast mode, and that's the survival.
Well, that's where the survival comes into, like.
Right, but what's the real battle? What's the real battle?
Life's a battle.
Okay, so again.
So if life's a battle, and you are using this energy, you using this platform to express yourself, and you're getting it out there. You are facing your demons head on, and you taking on a big responsibility that a lot of people don't have the strength to do. So,
but is it constructive?
It's constructive for the person who's doing that. Like, you got to realize, not every action that you do in your life right now has something to do with something else. Some days you just do things for yourself. So why is it when you're doing something for yourself, you have to put an accountability for what's going on around you? You have to take care of yourself. And that's the energy that a lot of people are doing when they're expressing themselves through art. You are thinking about your art, you're thinking about yourself, and you're thinking about how I need to express it and get it off my chest. And if it does,
that's your therapeutic thing.
And if it does do something for you, that's fine. If it does make you want to make a change, that's fine. But I'm really doing this for me.
Okay, so
and it just so happens that what you're saying is right. You have the power to change other people, but some people don't realize they have power.
So that's what I'm saying.
Some people just want to get certain things off, and not all power is good power, and not all bad power is good
it's
power.
How it's being used.
So it's
how it's being applied, right?
It is.
Okay, so when you do something, when we do something for ourselves, like we take out that time for ourselves, okay, technically I wouldn't think that it might affect someone else. My actions will possibly sometime affect someone else, even if it's directly or indirectly. Once I get ahead and I put it out there in the atmosphere for others to see, and I see that I have that attention of, perhaps, even though it's still for me and I can't control what another person does, but is it like that manipulation type of persuasive thing to say, you go out there and you do this too. You're not saying that, but do people glamorize it in that sense to where it's just like, I think I want to do that. Remember, people admire certain people for whatever they do. It's a lot of things that can go along with that.
Some people who admire people probably are not even doing what they want to do.
Well, again,
they're not truly living their dream, and
so that's what I'm saying.
Truly living their path.
So, as an artist, for your own self, right now, as an artist, this is something that you're passionate about, and this is what you're going out to seek. Now, if it affects someone else, and like you said, sometimes when you go out to places, you and the family and stuff, and getting everybody to draw and stuff, oh wow, that's that guy out here and stuff like that. Boom. Once you get recognition and everything, you notice that you're being noticed. Somebody's watching, even when you're not. Somebody's always watching you, more or less. But when we do have that impact on people, and it's not to necessarily, because that's sometimes that's a lot to just carry, weight, and you don't necessarily want to be responsible technically for everybody, because you just can't. You're really responsible just for yourself and, immediate family in that sense. But as an artist, do you actually ever feel, any type of, I don't know, I won't say responsibility, but that accountability, do you feel?
I think all artists have that, because all artists watch that Spider-Man phrase of, with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay.
So I feel like all artists, that even if they're using their power in a negative sense, like they think of okay, when I say this is gonna affect this, or when I do this is gonna affect this. But they also have in their mind, I have to do what I have to do. I have to continue to survive. It comes into a survival of the fittest thing of saying, yeah, if I do this and you do that, well, if I didn't do it, what were you doing?
Well, I think that part as well. So
and that's the struggle. It's a struggle, and
that's
and
the
to
battle.
be honest, life's a battle. And I feel like with an artist, you actually see it when it comes to like music or things like that, because you actually see artists take they take those mental breaks. They take mental breaks because they start noticing the elements that they control and who's being watched in that same umbrella as them. And some artists, if they're not fully in control of themselves, so they're just doing what's in front of them and not living in their truth. But then you have those artists who are living in their truths and they are doing what they want to do, and they still have to struggle with that fight of doing the right thing for people, because you never know if you're doing the right thing for somebody. Someone could take your kind gesture and take it as disrespect. I remember when Wendy's first had those nuggets for $1, and we went to King's Plaza and we had bought a bunch of nuggets for this guy, and the guy didn't want the nuggets. Like he threw the nuggets away or whatever, and I might have been like 8 years old or 8 or 7, but I remember that now of just saying you had a kind gesture. You went out your way to do that, and he still took it as what are you doing? I didn't need your help. And I actually relearned that lesson one time when I was with Booker, and we had like steak. We was eating real good, and I didn't eat the steak, and I had gave it to this guy who I assumed wanted it. But when I gave him the food or whatever, he ends up putting out more money I've ever seen in my life or whatever, of just saying like I don't need nobody to feel bad or sorry or help me or persuade me to, I'm doing my thing, and what I did affected me. So you have those type of lessons in life of just like you want to do good for people and you want to do good for yourself, but you don't know the limits to where to go.
I'm checking out this thing that you have right here. It says Cards Against Humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would just hope as a people, just plain old human beings, whatever we into in that sense, that we just realize how we can impact others, regardless of the platform that we're actually on in that venue. When you do have that extra platform that you are able to reach others and impact them, that we just be a little bit more mindful, conscious, and then at the same time understand that the power that you actually do have can affect others, and if it's not used correctly, it can be really damaging, and that's the legacy that you don't want to have. Mm-hmm. We just got rid of a quote president. He's going to be legend, okay? But what is he going to be remembered by? Okay, now, again, as much as we might not have liked the things that he did, it brought a lot of other things out. So sometimes even in a bad crisis situation, a lot of other stuff comes out, and that's a moment to a movement. Remember how we expressed that as well. So it's just that you just got to look at things in a more broad perspective. And I know for myself personally, you know, I don't even realize sometimes, you know, how I might impact others, because I'm trying to just figure out just to be a better version of me. But through my own, you know, you get to learn. You know, you get to learn. And it's a process. Everything is a process. Everything is a process.
Trust the process. And make sure y'all get Access Hollywood. That's dropping this year. And shout out to my mama, because she going to have to watch this on her birthday. Happy birthday. Tell my mama this is going to drop on the 4th. We see y'all because the battery is dying. We got to get out of here.
The battle is real, y'all.
The battle is real, and we about to get out of here. Shout out to my mama. I hope y'all tune into the Next Stop Hollywood series. And we're going to have some more talks like this. It's going to have anybody's. Might have my son here, might have my wife here. You never know who going to pop up, man. But the series is going to be dope. It's going to be electrifying. It's going to be all that. It's Next Stop Hollywood. It's your guy, Dizzy Spades. It's my mama.
One love, peace.
And we about to get out of there. Happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you, son.
Making money moves, making money moves. Making money moves, making money moves. When the pressure's at its most high, what side you finna choose? On this side is the winners with that same